Hey everybody, Rocco Castellano here. For my business partner, Neil Ventron, give it holy. I gotta tell you, I'm still reeling from this. Our dominate or disappear a business boot camp. We had a jam-packed 2.5 days of just insane amount of information, and I'm telling you. I'm not gonna bullshit you. I went to sleep at 8 o'clock and woke up at 9:30. That's how tired I was from delivering the information. We had great people here, and Neil spoke for most of the of the time. I had actually a couple of things like happened, so I wound up cooking. I was the chef for the weekend, and it was
great.
So people got to actually eat what I eat every day. So it was pretty cool. So Neil, give me your version or your retrospect of what you really think that the people got. I can, I'm going to tell you what the people said, but I'd like to know what you think the people actually needed and got from what they when they attended here.
Okay, so I'm just going to keep this short to 3 things. Okay,
yep.
When we go through it, we can spend Saturday.
It's a whole weekend. Were you kidding me? I mean, we spoke for 30 hours.
Yeah, non-stop. And we could have gone more. So, so there's 3 big insights that I take away that I think most businesses are beginning to follow the similar pattern right now. And it's not uncommon if based on the participants that were there the weekend, based on the people we coach, we're beginning to see these patterns become over and over again. Number 1, for a fitness business, specifically for fitness business, the age-old idea of templatization, meaning you're creating templated stuff for clients, a templated website, templated conversations, talking to them generically is gone. Clients are much smarter today than they were a year or 2 ago, and the reason is they have more information. Your clients, it amazes me, whether you're living in Chicago, Las Vegas, San Diego, wherever you live around the world, clients have very specific needs at your part, wherever you live in America, right? So in Chicago, we have the weather that forces clients that can't work out, so we need indoor facilities, different ways of helping them with the nutrition, different working conditions that make it difficult to work out. So you live in Vegas, you have the hot weather, dehydration, whatever it is, every one of us has different needs. The challenge that businesses are facing right now is they're becoming generic. They're being one size fits all. When the clients see those marketing messages and the way you're talking to them, they hate it. They don't want to know about it. Your business is suffering as a result of that. So the biggest breakthrough we had for our participants this weekend, and something that they told us, is that for the first time, they are proud of putting a message out in the marketplace that reflects them and who they are. And more importantly, creating this one-on-one connection with the clients and the ideal client that they want to work out. So for the first time, they wrote a sales letter or a relationship letter, put it on the front page of the website that has everything to do with who they are, and more importantly, it has everything to do with who the client is. So the first biggest breakthrough was writing sales letters for your website that's a reflection of you and your local community, and not using generic template stuff. If you're going to continue to do that, you may have some success now, but in 6 months from now, 12 months from now, let's face it, you are really going to struggle, and you're never going to build one-on-one relationships with people. So this whole idea of taking generic stuff and using them has to go. I think that was the biggest breakthrough, sitting down, helping our participants think about what is the message, what is the unique selling proposition, what and how they communicate was something that you really need as a business owner moving forward.
Well, and you're talking about one-on-one, and we're not talking about one-on-one personal training here. I just want to make that perfectly clear. We're talking about a one-on-one connection with whatever whatever customer that you have, be it a boot camp customer, be it a small group training, if it's one-on-one, if it's athletic performance, if you're doing team stuff, it's still a one-on-one connection that you're making. You're creating a message, and that was awesome for the people that were here, and they were able to do that. I mean, I saw people crying. You know, like people were actually crying because they actually felt like, oh man, this is me. This is what I'm about. Holy shit. You know, now I feel proud, you know, about that. I think that was one of the greatest things that I saw that happened in this weekend. There's a couple of more, and I'm hoping you're going to touch on it. If you don't touch on them, I definitely will.
Okay, so let me go to number three. Let me go.
Some of them were fucking hilarious. I got to tell you.
Number two. Here's what I'm seeing. Most fitness trainers believe that they have a lead problem. Most of them believe, and no matter where you are,
everyone believes that. Everyone.
Yeah, and we all want more leads, and that's great to have more leads coming in. Okay, but the challenge is that when you get the leads, what do you do with them, right? So I'm looking at it from a step back. We did an exercise. We called a bunch of fitness trainers, studios around the country.
Yeah, I'm so glad you touched on it.
Right. So we called 8 fitness trainers around the country, and we wanted to get a sense of. And I role played. I was acting as if I was a client ready to come in and work out right now. So we ended up all the way from people giving us multiple pricing options on what they actually do, to telling me how stupid I am for not knowing all the terminology that I should know. Things like volume and feet and discount and load time and all of that, to you know, coming in, and the third biggest amazing thing was no one asked me to really come in and sit down with them and come in for a consultation. Now, I bet you think you are doing this, but when you actually get on a phone and talk to a prospect live, there is so much of pressure coming around, because you want to close the sale, you want to bring this person in, you really want to help this person, but when it comes down to that, out of the 8 people we spoke to, and these are good, successful businesses, not one of them, not one, actually connected in a way that made me feel to come in, to sit with them, and start a relationship or speak to them. So the point I want to make here is that we all believe we have a lead problem, which we genuinely do, and we'll touch on that in the next topic. But the real problem that you have as a fitness trainer is that we don't have the structure or the tools or the scripts to turn someone into the phone into a relationship. And when you do that, right, so let's just think about it. You know, most of us want hundreds of leads a week, thousands of leads a month, and I want that too, right? I'm not discounting that. But what if I just get 1 lead a week? 1 lead a week, 4 leads a month, right? 4. And I convert all 4 of them into paid clients, right? And in a year, I have 48 new people. What would that do to your business? It would have a huge impact.
It's unbelievable. And just like, you know, just like you say all the time, it's about compounding influence.
Yeah.
It compounds each month, every day. And you know, I mean, like the funny thing about what happened this weekend with those phone calls were that we were able to show them the shitty response, and then, you know, you were able to get on the phone with me, and I was able to show you exactly how it's supposed to happen, how to develop the relationship, how to not have pressure on you, and you wound up, I mean, you became a big fan. If you're not a fan being my partner now, you kind of became a fan anyway, because of the way that we were able to show how to get people in the door. The most important thing that you can do when you get a lead, I don't give a shit if you get 400 leads. If you can't get those leads in your door and sitting down with you to start the relationship, it doesn't matter how many leads. You don't have a lead problem. You have a conversion problem.
Right. And you know, the way it was done is, number one, you control the conversation. And that's what we showed people. If you want to get people in the door, you control the conversation. And number two, there's a series of questions that you ask them. Even though they're asking you the questions, there's a series of questions you ask them to control that conversation. And it's that simple. And that's exactly what you did, Rocco, that you didn't let me control that conversation. You asked the questions, even though I was the one who initiated everything. You took the call back of that conversation again. And you know, we have that list of questions that we gave to our participants who are now able to turn it on. Any conversation, literally close 100% of the conversation. And the other thing we went through is that people are going to ask you about the price of your services on that call. And we shared an awesome technique of how to use the cell phone to give away the price and control their information so you can continue to build that relationship. And if they do price shop you, there's a way you can still be in control of that. So we covered that.
Yeah, it's so easy. I love doing what I do.
Right. And you can see, I mean, you're really good at it. So that was the biggest piece for me, is that I bet you, if you're watching this video right now, take me up on this offer. I'll call your studio. Leave me your name and email.
That's right, yeah.
Give me a telephone number. I'll get Rocco on the call. I'll call you, and we can role play this, and you can see firsthand live what the breakpoints in conversion and actually closing them out, right? So that was the second point. The third point, you know, I have hundreds of them right here.
Oh,
I'll go with the third one. And the third one is actually, let's get back to the lead problem. The reason why most participants, you know, came to the course this weekend because they wanted more leads, and they want more leads. And the problem with leads is there's a two-step problem. Number one, you need to have the right conversation to get a lead in, right? So it needs to be documented on your website, on your blog posts, on your videos, on your Facebook page. Is what is that expert conversation you have? What do you tell them? How do you tell them? How do you position themselves? We all heard the adage, tell stories, but no one gives you a formula for telling stories. And there's a special business formula. Look, you can write a $4 article from someone in overseas in India and put it on your website. You're not building a relationship, you're not getting that lead. Okay, so unless you get good at telling the right business stories and you have scripts and you know how to do it powerfully and communicate with impact, that is why you're not getting leads. It was so evident this weekend that, you know, some of our participants were struggling not getting leads because they just didn't know how to have that conversation, not to sell, but to build that relationship to get them in the door and tell that story the right way. That was the first part of it. And the second part of it is that we, you know, we're kind of using tools that are not 2013 ready, if you want to call it that. We're using old-fangled ways of trying to get people in. When your customer is walking around with their cell phone and using Facebook, you know, your customer is going to your website or asking for a referral from someone. You're not using the tools we have right now, whether it's your website correctly, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You're not using it the right way to get the client through your sales funnel so you can actually convert them into a lead. So the problem is that what I saw this weekend was that there's no system. You don't have a system. One day you wake up, you put a blog post on, you expect thousands of people to contact you. Or you write a Facebook post and you need thousands of people to contact you. So what we walk through is, again, the power of compounding influence, but the power of compounding leads, if you want to call it that. If you have a system and you know what to do in 1 hour every single day, over and over again, it's going to stack, it's going to stack, it's going to stack, it's going to work. And one thing that we let everyone is that, you know, work on the right problem. Everyone's how can I put it? Everyone's worried. You know, bills got to be paid. Trainers leave. New customers cancel their EFTs every month and put their billing on hold. We're paying for a facility and we can't afford it. We work on all these different problems, and it creates more and more and more and more problems. So you don't work on the core problem. And the core problem is very simply this: you fill up your sales pipeline. If you can fill up your sales pipeline, it takes care of every other problem that you have. Because now you got peace of mind and you got the money to go and work on all these different problems. I'm not saying that they are important. I'm just saying work on the right problem. And then if you build these lead systems coming in to fill up the pipeline, and you can put it for an hour a day and schedule it and do the work, you win. And that's what everyone was breaking down. They really couldn't figure out, what do I do an hour a day to fill up my sales pipeline, to get the leads in, so I can build a beautiful business and don't have to struggle. And I think we took them through a whole process, and then you can actually see the relief on people's faces. On the last day, when we put the structure and timeline and give them the exact step-by-step words you say, the messages you need to create, and where you start and where you finish up. And we took them through a case study of a business that started off with 150 clients and ended up with 300 clients, in a short period of time, within 6 months, using this actual strategy in place. And it was built specifically for them. And that's the important thing when it comes to this lead piece. It's not generic. It's not me in Chicago, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to put this ads or promote this way, and then you in San Francisco are going to use the same thing and automatically it works for you. It does still work, but let's face it, those days are over. It's about communication, personalization, and treating your client like a first-class passenger on an airline. You want to treat them like first class. And that's it, really.
Well, and most of the, most of the people that came this weekend, they really didn't know, Neil. They didn't know what they were about. They didn't know who they were, what they were, like what they were about, or what they stood for. So they were very confused in their own business model. They actually didn't know what they were doing, and it was so cool how you were able to bring out, to pull out of them the what they're really about, what they're actually selling, or what the customer wants. We were doing some exercises about what the customer actually wants, and not one of the people that were here had that on their website. It was amazing. I was like, holy shit. It was absolutely crazy. And so when we were able to make those different connections, all of a sudden, it was so hilarious. I gotta tell you, I get a kick out of doing this shit, because you see this wave. It's like a very serious wave go over their face, and they go, holy shit, now I get it.
Right.
It's like lights go up and the fireworks and all shit happens once they figured out, who they were and what they were about. It was much easier to understand what the client was, and then getting the client to actually connect with you. It was so wonderful to see.
We went from Kristen to just getting people into a personal training studio, for example, to saying, hey, I really want to help people experiencing back pain and carpal tunnel syndrome and neck pain, sitting in front of the computers and eating unhealthy. So we went from transitioning from all that broad, generic level stuff that you put on a website, and she was thinking
fitness and weight loss.
And we nailed that USP by asking 8 questions. We actually created that USP for her.
Yeah,
her whole life changed after that. And she was able to tell a story, and it was beautiful, because that's the client she wanted to train, and that's the client she is training. And
and most of all, that's the client she loves to train. That's the ideal client for her. She loves it. She wakes up. She literally wakes up every day wanting to train that client.
Yeah, and each person had a different story to tell, and that's important. And you need to be able to get that story out. But yeah, so those are the three big things. So what were your comments on?
Well, some of them were, like like some of the stuff about referrals.
Right.
Actually putting in, people think, oh, you got to ask, you got to ask people, you got to do this, you got to do that when asking for or like getting a referrals. And one of the biggest things that we really taught and had them figure out too is that it's about doing your job the best you possibly can, connecting with your clients, and then allowing, having a system, a real system in place to get the referrals, because people want to talk. One, they want to talk about their personal trainer, their fitness trainer, and two, you have to give them a reason to be talking about you and a reason to be giving out your information to get that a referral. That was a big point that that I saw people just clicking, bing, 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 bing,
right.
Like the lights were going off, and closing the sale. 100%. You have to think about closing. Don't do the math. Don't do the ratio shit where you go and say, oh, well, you know what? I'm converting at 30%, so that's good, I want to, P. Rose, one time, I love to tell the story because it shows the mindset of what P. Rose did and the mindset that we should always have. A reporter went up to Pete Rose and said, "So you're on this big streak, and so do you expect every time you get up to bat to make a hit?" And Pete Rose looked at him and basically said, "Are you fucking kidding me?" He goes, "Of course I do. 100% of the time, I'm going to get a hit. I know I'm going to get a hit. Because if I don't believe that I'm going to get a hit, I'm not going to get a hit." That's the bottom line. So
you're absolutely right.
So when I lived in Cincinnati, I really took on that approach to life, to my business. And I was able to develop, and you saw it in action, that closing, and being able to close people 100% of the time is it sounds absolutely insane, but when you teach people how to use the numbers to their advantage, and to show people how to specifically use those numbers to confirm things and get people to keep saying yes, 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 yes. It's almost, it's nearly impossible for someone not to give you more money and I always did it with a consultation, and I got paid handsomely for my consultations at $250 a consultation, and then I always got more personal training money out of them. So that was a really good thing that I saw on the people's faces.
Just to add to what you were saying, you said some very valuable points there. We all have, and especially the people that came into the weekend, have this mental mind shift that you can't charge for the consultation. No one can want to come to the consultation. Well, duh, because most people's consultations is, hey, come in, let me sell you something.
Right.
It's not like you're going to a doctor, and then the consultation is you checking, even if he does nothing and he's fast asleep, but he's taking a stethoscope out and he's checking your blood pressure and putting his hands up your nose or your mouth, and you hate it, but you feel like you're getting something out of it, and then he gives you a diagnosis, right? There's a scientifically involved procedure, and our brains are like, whoa, this must be good. He's the doctor. Because of what he does, first he makes you wait for an hour and read all the crappy magazines, and when you come in, he acts like he, does all the medical stuff and whatnot. But it's worth it because you feel relieved. Hey, shit, I'm not going for surgery. So this is good stuff. I'll pay $10,000 sitting at the doctor because I was scared in the first place. But it's a procedure, and what you very neatly laid out, which I've never seen anywhere before, is this procedure, a scientific procedure where you take the information, you share it in a way that shows them how valuable it is for them, and you scare them shitless in the process without even telling them all that. No sane human being can walk away from that conversation like, okay, I don't want to sign up right now. The poor guy's probably having a heart attack by the time he enters the but it's done in a very nice, fun way. Right. So the point is that the consultation is so valuable, therefore you can charge $250. When people see it, they're like, whoa. Because right now, most fitness professionals, the word consultation equals sale. Clients hear that, they're like, sorry, we ain't doing it. So that's the mind shift set, and that's what we taught people this weekend. You, as a fitness trainer, are valuable. You are valuable because here's the deal. My sister, she's a doctor, she's a pediatrician, so she studied, now she's starting to be a pediatrician and doing all this kind of stuff. So she goes running, and she has pain in her ankles. And she sent me a message and said, what do you do for pain in your ankles? I don't have my phone with me right here, but I will show it to you live in my phone. It's actually on Facebook. Right? I'm like, are you serious? Like, did I go to school or did you go to school? I'm a marketer. I'm not even a fitness professional. I'm a fitness marketer. I did all a piece of bootcamp and whatnot for a period of time. But think about that for a second. It sounds funny. Think about that for a second. How valuable fitness trainers are. How valuable they are, but they don't leverage that value, right? My sister is a doctor that's asking me that. If you can demonstrate that value to people, you're never going to go hungry. All you sit and do is $250 an hour consultations for 8 hours a day, you're rich. You don't even ever train anyone, right? So the point I was just going to add to what you said, Rock, is that you had a system, you had a methodology, you had an outcome, and therefore you closed 100% of the sale. And today, make yourself valuable, learn the tools, even if you don't learn it from us, figure out how that consultation process works. And if you do, you're just elevating yourself to the next level that no one can really touch you ever.
Well, what was cool about like the consultation, I only did consultations of 1 day a week, and it put $135,000
Wow.
To my bottom line a year, and I only worked 10 hours a day on a Saturday, and I did consultation. Now, if I didn't want to work that Saturday, it didn't matter.
Right.
But I was making more in 1 day, like literally in 1 day, than most trainers were making the whole year.
Right. But because there's a scientific formula and sequence around it. Okay. What else were your big takeaways? And we'll cut this short now.
Well, what was really cool, I thought, was how when we did the sales letter stuff and the USP, how the mindset, it was so fucking amazing how their mindset changed. And when I was looking at their videos, their former videos on their websites and whatever, and then when they did the video here, when we shot the video on site, it was so cool because you could see the switch in confidence. You could see that they really were involved. They were energetic. They were just motivated to have a great video and because they knew what they were talking about. They really knew what they were talking about. It was simply amazing to watch that transformation.
Right, because energy and belief is contagious, and if you show that on the video, the clients are going to eat that up, right? Rather than talking about some generic stuff, you're communicating in a way that's infectious, and how can you people not be attracted to you and connect with you, right? And the point to add to what you were saying is that they couldn't do it on their own because they just didn't have the codes to do that because they're doing generic stuff. Okay? And when they came down here, they got coached into how to do the video the right way, to elevate them, to position them, because at the very beginning of the day, of the day one, we did a competition analysis and what the competitors were doing and how they were doing it. And when they created the video, they positioned themselves completely different from everyone, but more importantly, in a way that the clients can start connecting again. And yeah, that was awesome. I mean, I saw one of our participants literally in tears.
Oh yeah.
Created that video because she was never able to do that before.
Right.
And she felt authentic about that video. It was her. She wrote the script for it. She produced it. It was so much of an energy that came out of it. It was.
She did the work. That was the thing.
She did the work, right?
It's so amazing when you actually do the work. You feel like everything is now you. Mm-hmm. And the really cool thing that they did was with that competitive, like the competition matrix that we did with them, mm-hmm. It was really awesome because they were able to see how they can differentiate themselves, and then also you were able to show them the specific, not just Google keywords, but like keywords in general, mm-hmm. that people were looking for, and then mm-hmm. we were able to match those keywords to the stuff that they like to do, that they want to be talking about.
Right.
And that was really cool stuff because now, we didn't just coach them on like what to do. They were able to figure out where they could actually excel. That was the really, that's what I thought was simply amazing, was that, they were able to see, oh, well, you know what? People want to know about this, so you know what? And I really love talking about this, so I'm going to talk about this, make videos, blog posts, do Facebook stuff, and it was like, holy, like their whole world just opened up.
Yeah, no, that's a good point that I didn't talk about. But so what we did is, Rocco, you and I designed this matrix, which no one else has, this competition matrix, and we made them fill it out. And the genesis behind it is, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king, right? So when everyone's doing everything the same, you just need one eye. You just need to stick out a little bit of differentiation, and boom, you're the king of the land. And what the competition matrix did, the way we structured it and positioned it, and showed them where the gaps were to stand out. Sonny, you could just stand out in any market because everyone's exactly the same. It's ridiculous. Right? But we went through that exercise, and when we found out where they stood out, they saw how easy it was to talk to the target client. In fact, we showed them how easy it was for the target client to find them without them doing any crazy stuff and learning technical stuff and doing all of that.
Right.
We went through the whole marketing analysis, and we showed them how to build the videos, talk specifically to those clients, and that's going to give them a superb, unique advantage. If they didn't make 10 times the amount of money in the next 6 months than what we showed them in this dominated disappear business bootcamp, obviously we would refund all their money back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
but I would literally, I would stop coaching and go find something else to do. I would literally give up this entire business that I spent 8 years of my life building to do something else, because it's so exciting to finally to be able to connect and talk to your clients, that your clients find you, and build that relationship and stop being generic. If you're using templated stuff, templated ads, templated sales tools, template, what message is that sending to your client?
Well, and
right,
like all this templated stuff and the done-for-you stuff is sometimes good just to get you started, just to get you in the habit. But then,
Rocco, you and I are going to disagree, right? In a second.
No, right.
Now, in 2013,
Oh no, no, I'm thinking about the thought process when you're
Right.
thinking about, oh, it'll help you just to get started. You know, you may
Oh, right,
think
right.
that
I'm
it's
with
a
you.
good idea to help you get started to just get on the right track, but you know what? I'm going to tell you, it's not. It's
Yeah.
not the right idea because see, the thing is, if you start off using generic shit, then people are going to believe that you're generic. So you know, so if you do it right the first time, put the time in. Take your lumps a little bit. You know, get hit. Boom, boom. You know, you learn. You know what? My favorite thing, my coach, my boxing coach, used to fucking tell me all the time is, you know what? You got to learn how to get hit
Yeah.
in order for you to learn how to fight. And I was like, well, I never want to get hit. And he goes, listen, it's inevitable. You're gonna get hit, and if you get hit and you fall, you fall down from the first shot, and you don't get back up, you're never gonna box again. So yeah, it's inevitable. You're gonna take some
Yeah.
hits. Okay, so get hit on your own turf. Don't get hit on somebody else's turf using somebody else's shit. You know, if you're using your own boxing gloves, they feel right. They're custom made for you. You know, if you use somebody else's boxing gloves or skis or whatever, you know, to do what you want to do and you love to do, you're doing yourself a disservice. So I want to say thank you so much, Neil. We went a little long here today. We usually do about 5 to 15 minutes on a tip, but we had a lot of stuff to share. It was an awesome, awesome weekend of the Dominate or Disappear Business Boot Camp. And Neil, anything to anything to close?
Yeah. The only thought that I took away is that, you know, connect with your clients as if you're talking to your spouse, your best friend, your friend. You know, we're all human beings. Don't be something or portray something that you're not supposed to be. You know, don't be bigger than what your clients expect you to be. All that really means is if you, in 2013, if you start personalizing everything you do, you are going to have a very successful business. That's the bottom line. And till next time, I'm Neil Venkatraman and my partner Rocco Castellano, and the least you can do is live up to your
Live up to
potential.
your potential.
We'll talk to you soon.
You're like totally taking my shit away.
Oh, absolutely. I own it now.
Thanks, Neil.